We just discovered something at the bottom of the ocean that shouldn't exist. Oxygen being produced in total darkness. And we are about to destroy the only thing creating it for a few $1 trillion. This miracle of nature is happening in a desolate stretch of the Pacific known as the Clarion-Clipperton zone, and it's currently the site of the world's most dangerous land grab.
Plunge 4,000 meters down into a massive stretch of the Pacific between Hawaii and Mexico called the Clarion-Clipperton zone. Here, there is no sunlight, and the pressure is high enough to crush a titanium hull. Right now, autonomous robotic submersibles are prowling this absolute darkness, scanning the abyssal plain. They are hunting for polymetallic nodules. These are potato-sized chunks of rock scattered across the sediment, mineral deposits that have remained undisturbed for millions of years. These dark lumps are packed with battery-grade metals. When you compare the known terrestrial reserves to what's resting on the seafloor, the scale is staggering. Cobalt and manganese are abundant, but it's the nickel that defines the race. Seafloor deposits are estimated to contain nearly 3 times the nickel of every land-based mine on the planet combined. These nodules hold the raw materials required for the electric vehicle batteries and AI data centers of the next decade. As terrestrial ores deplete, the global push for green energy has quietly transformed the deep ocean into the most fiercely contested resource frontier on Earth. Under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, the international seabed is legally designated as the common heritage of mankind. The law dictates that these minerals do not belong to any single country, and their profits must be shared globally. This entire concept is overseen by the International Seabed Authority, or ISA. Their global mandate is to write a mining code, a set of rules intended to govern extraction and ensure that the wealth of the deep sea benefits developing nations as well as global powers. But the ISA is completely gridlocked. For over a decade, member states have argued over environmental liability and profit-sharing models. As of 2026, the mining code is still unfinished, leaving a massive regulatory vacuum over millions of square miles of ocean. With the global authorities paralyzed, corporations and superpowers are finding alternative pathways. In 2026, the question is no longer when the mining starts, but who will authorize it once they bypass the UN entirely. The first tactic is the flag of convenience loophole. Multinational corporations can circumvent international delays by partnering with a small developing nation, using that country's state status to force the ISA's hand. Take the island nation of Nauru. By sponsoring a subsidiary of the Canadian firm The Metals Company, Nauru triggered a legal mechanism called the 2-year rule. This effectively forced the ISA to either finalize mining regulations or allow extraction to proceed under whatever rules currently exist. We are also seeing a sovereign bypass. While international waters are tied up in UN debate, countries like the United States and Norway are granting domestic permits inside their own maritime territories, aggressively pursuing extraction independent of the international framework. This has created a new series of strategic alliances. Because China holds more exploration contracts than any other nation, the United States and Japan have signed an agreement to share research and secure Pacific mineral deposits directly, a clear signal that they are ready to operate outside the UN system. Other nations are managing the race through corporate shells. The UK government sponsors massive Pacific exploration licenses that were originally held by a defense giant. When the subsequent owner went bankrupt in 2025, the UK secretly transferred those licenses to a newly formed opaque entity called Glomar Minerals. This transfer happened behind closed doors while the UK publicly supported a deep-sea mining moratorium. The move triggered immediate legal challenges from environmental groups, who argue the government is violating law to shield a private company from public scrutiny. The race for critical minerals has fractured. Multilateralism is being replaced by a unilateral land grab, where sovereign powers and corporate entities navigate a gray zone of legality. The industry promises that deep-sea mining will be clean. Their marketing shows autonomous robots hovering above the seabed, delicately picking up nodules without disturbing the delicate seafloor or creating massive, suffocating dust plumes. But in 2026, a scientific discovery shattered that narrative. Researchers in the Clarion-Clipperton zone detected oxygen being produced at the bottom of the ocean, in a place where sunlight has never reached. This is dark oxygen. The polymetallic nodules act as geo-batteries, carrying a high enough electrical charge to split seawater molecules through electrolysis. This oxygen sustains deep-sea ecosystems that have evolved over millions of years. It is a vital life support system for thousands of unique species that cannot survive or recover if these nodules are removed. Mining the ocean floor isn't just a matter of collecting rocks. It is the physical removal of the engine that produces oxygen for the deep sea. Late 2026 is the stress test for this entire industry. While 40 nations are now calling for a halt, commercial operators are preparing their fleets for the first large-scale extractions. Massive industrial support vessels and autonomous swarms are launching right now to establish physical dominance in the Pacific. If the ISA fails to ratify the mining code by the end of the year, the authority to govern the seabed will shift. Control will move away from the UN and toward whichever sovereign power can deploy the most advanced technology first. In the rush to save the atmosphere, we are trading the fossil fuel crisis for a blue extinction, leaving the fate of the deep ocean to whichever nation possesses the robotics and the naval presence to claim it.